Planet Magazine.
Also known as Wednesday 13.
Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is Hulk Hogan with your welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
You're listening to Brutal Planet.
Hey, what's up, everybody? CJ Pierce here from Drowning Pool, and you're listening to Brutal Planet Media right here. Get yourself.
Hey, I'm Steve from Within the Ruins, and this is Brutal Planet.
All right, here we go.
Very cool.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. It's been a few years since I last talked to you. I think that was right after Ides of March came out. And we didn't have a ton of time then either. I don't know how much time you have now. But I meant to ask you last time, because I've been wondering this for over 20 years. How did you get the Rockstar gig?
Yeah, the Rockstar gig was, ultimately, I think it was through Brendan O'Brien, the producer, because he'd mixed the first Mayfield 4 record. And so when they were looking for, he was friends with the one of the head honchos at that, who's doing the music and whatnot for that film, for the Rockstar film. And, and they had been they wanted a guy that could be the actor and also sing the part. And so for some reason, Brennan threw my name in the ring, and I'm grateful to him for it. I certainly wasn't an actor, but maybe they thought I could pull it off. And sure. The rest is history. I mean, it was it was really fun. It was really more than anything. I mean, it was an incredible experience, but I was also flattered that Brendan thought of me, because I have such respect for him, always have. So the fact that he put my name in the hat was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always curious how you got that gig, and then do you look back on those memories fondly, or is that I wish I wouldn't have done that?
No, very fondly, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
I have plenty of things I've done that I don't look back. I look back and I go, I sure shouldn't have done that, but that's not one. No, I enjoyed that a lot, and I had no idea kind of the longevity it would have in terms of it's kind of got this cult following at this point. And it came out when it came out around the same time 9/11 happened. So it kind of wasn't an appropriate mood, and so I thought, oh, well, okay, well, that's probably it there. But, 20 plus years later, still talking about it. So they did something right.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good movie and stuff. So yeah, I hope you don't mind. My dog's just hanging out here in the background. That's Tater.
All good. Mine's right here.
Is he?
So,
all right.
Yeah,
that's
I'll
awesome.
start sitting right here.
So you just released your third solo album, and Myles, it's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Tater doesn't. I don't know if he agrees with me, but
doesn't agree. He's like, I hate that record.
Oh, it's funny. I wanted to ask you right away, because the first thing I'm always drawn to is just the cover art, and this one. I mean, this is quite a bit different than your other two album cover art. You got a lot going on here, and it's pretty cool. Did you come up with this, or did you hand it over to an artist? Or
handed it over? I wish I could say I came up with it. This guy named Rizza, I believe it's Rzapeker, and my manager Tim found him online, just doom scrolling, and this artist that put together these really stunning visual images, very dense, but really cool. And so we reached out to him and asked him if he'd be up for doing something, but incorporating things ultimately from my past, kind of telling my story. So, if you look, there are a lot of Easter eggs on that cover. There's the owl from Ides of March. There's the Elton is a tiger, that year the tiger. Has there's a door which represents the first Mayfield 4 record. Okay. There's all sorts of stuff there. Obviously, the octopus tentacles, which the old octopus tattoo.
I was gonna say I've taken pictures of you guys playing before. I've seen the tattoo and stuff, and so that's really cool. I especially like the snowy owl. That's one of my favorite birds. So I'm a birder.
Oh, good. That's cool. Owls are amazing. They really are.
You're a big nature guy too, aren't you?
I do love nature. I like to spend a lot of time in the woods when I can.
That's cool.
I'm not like a survivalist or anything. I don't think I would last 24 hours if you put me out myself, but I do love it. It really kind of, it reconnects me. Yeah, I love it.
Are you still in Spokane?
I am. I'm in Spokane right now, and then we kind of in the summer spend our time in Spokane, and then go into Idaho quite a bit.
Okay.
On a weekly basis, and it's beautiful there. Yeah.
I've been to most states. Idaho is still one I've never been to, but I've seen that like the mountains there are just beautiful and
beautiful.
That's
I highly
cool.
recommend it. Yeah.
Do you recommend northern Idaho? I'm assuming because southern is kind of dry and stuff, isn't it? Or
yeah, we're near the northern part, so we're about 40 minutes from Coeur d'Alene, which Coeur d'Alene's just blown up now. Now the rest of the world's discovered it, so it's changed a lot. When I was a kid, it was just a sleepy little town, and now it's it's changed dramatically. But we tend to go further, kind of. I guess south and hang out. So yeah, it's great there.
Yeah, it sounds like I grew up in Wisconsin, and as a kid we always went to Wisconsin Dells, and it was a tourist trap back then, but it was still fairly small, and now it's just like huge, all these big water parks and stuff like that.
Right.
But,
what part of Wisconsin?
I grew up like an hour north of Madison.
Okay.
Near Fond du Lac, if you know where that is.
Okay. Yeah, I spent a little bit of time. Is it Hartford or Heartland? I always get it mixed up.
I think there's both, but Hartford for sure.
Yeah, and after my father passed away, we left the Cape, kind of the Boston area, and lived there for about two years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you've had your fair of your cheese and all that stuff.
Oh yes, cheese was the best. Still have fond memories of the cheese.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm in Minnesota now, so I always get crap from the Minnesota people here. But
hey.
So your third album here, did my first impression last time I talked to you of Ides of March was that you just had a ton of fun recording it, and I had the same impression with this album, that it sounded like it was a fun record for you.
It was. Yeah, it was a blast. It was just a lot of riffs this time around. I decided to embrace that and not shy away from it. And so yeah, it's a real kind of visceral, like playing it and recording it was real. It was different, because it was on the first record, obviously more acoustic, and there are a lot of nuances and a lot of kind of, different textures and whatnot. Second record had a little bit of that, but a little bit more southern rock and country here and there, but it rocked harder overall.
Oh yeah.
And then this one is just like, okay, now we're rocking. Now we're in fifth gear.
Yeah. It did feel like you just cranked it to 11 and had a ton of fun. What's been the feedback from the singles and stuff so far? Have you got a lot of feedback?
Well, from what my managed, I don't have a thick enough skin to enter into the territory of reading what people think. And plus I feel like it just kind of, I don't know, it's better. It's just all the way around. It's better for me because I feel like if it's good, that's going to mess with me even more.
Sure. Yeah.
Like have to be at a certain level. And I prefer to just, trick myself into thinking whatever. It's just so there's no pressure when I create. To me, it's all about the creative process. That's all at this point, that's all I really care about. It's the reason I still do it. I just enjoy it. But if I feel like there's any sort of, expectation or pressure, you get in your own way. So, from what my managers has said, and occasionally family members will reach out and they'll be like, oh, well, I read this. I'm like, just stop.
I didn't even think about that. You probably do have family and close friends telling you all sorts of stuff too.
And they think they're doing you a favor. Like, oh, I got to read this to you. Read what this person wrote. And I'm like, no.
Well, I just think every song reeks of authenticity. You're one of my favorite songwriters. You just write very authentically and passionately. And I think that's what makes the great music.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I mean, I do it because I love it, and so it's not for that, I guess if you're doing it for the right reasons, hopefully that will come through, So do you mind if we get in the weeds here and I ask you about some
some
Yeah.
deep tracks instead of the
Sure.
singles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Behind the Veil is one of my favorites. And I always like to hear, I know some people like to leave it up for interpretation, but I always like to hear the artist like story behind the song, what inspired it, or how do you feel about it, things like that. So Behind the Veil, what can you tell us?
Well, it's my favorite as well. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that track. I like it because of the guitar parts. It's just something about it that I just really enjoy playing. I look forward to performing it live. But as far as like the narrative of it, it came about. I was on the road. I was touring and been away for a long time, and was starting to, miss home and just feel those things you feel, the loneliness and whatnot. And so I thought it would be interesting to kind of develop this almost like a discussion, like internally, like what if you like, as if it was like you made a deal with the devil, right? You got what you want. Here it is. And this is what you wanted. But look what came along with this. And how are you going to come to terms with that? And so that's what that means to me. I've heard other interpretations that are pretty cool, but that when I sing it and play it, that's what I'm thinking.
I was going to tell you that, like, I don't know what you'd call it, maybe the bridge or whatever, where you kind of you groove for a little bit. And I hope you take this as a compliment because I totally mean it as one. It had like Stranglehold vibes to it.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I like heard that, and Stranglehold. I mean, Ted Nugent is a character, take him or leave him, but
Right.
that song is just an epic song. And when I heard Behind the Veil and it went into that part, I'm like, holy cow, you're like tapping into Stranglehold in a sense, but making it yours. And I was blown away by that part.
Well, I appreciate that. I remember hearing that song as a kid, and I loved it. I always thought it was a great song. It definitely wasn't even on my radar when I wrote the song, but because of how many people have said this, obviously it must have been in
Just
there
floating
somewhere.
back there
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What I love about his tune, it's got that middle section is really kind of spooky, and you could almost say that was like his take of like Whole Lot of Love in a way. Just
Sure.
that the way the middle section, the breakdown is all kind of draws you into this realm. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite track on the album. It's hard to pick a favorite, but Eternal Lullaby was another one that I really loved that one. And again, it feels to me like you're writing about a specific thing. And if it's too personal, I understand or whatever, but it feels like there's a story behind that one as well.
Yeah, there's, it's funny the way I like to write. I like to take a genesis of something and have it like trigger a spark, but then I try to paint with broad strokes from that point forward. And for me, that song became a tribute, not just to like one artist, but to a few who had pretty profound effect on me. And so, and I brought this up a few times at this point, in the 90s, Jeff Buckley and Chris Cornell were really key figures for a lot of people. They really did some incredible things. And so that song was written as a tribute to people like that who kind of helped draw up the blueprint for those of us who are just kind of trying to carry the torch and move forward. And I think the thing I really like about that lyric is the idea, your song will never die. The idea that they left these bodies of work that will live on forever, hopefully. And I think there's something really beautiful about that.
Yeah, it also reminded me of the I think it was Ernest Hemingway quote about a man doesn't die once, he dies twice. Once when he's buried and once or it's like the last time someone says his name or something like that. It just, that song kind of brought those vibes too, where it's people live on longer than what they actually do when they make an impact in this world or make music that lasts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt, any sort of art form, you go to a museum and it's like, you see these paintings or statues or whatever, and some of these people have been gone for hundreds of years, you know, and that's really amazing, you know, and I'd be happy if these songs that I've been a part of live for another 10 years. I'd be thrilled.
Well, I think they'll go longer than that, Myles, because a couple of my kids are into Alter Bridge and things like that. So
Awesome.
you're making stuff that is at least getting passed on to the next generation. So,
that's beautiful.
and I don't doubt that it'll keep going. The last song I wanted to ask you about was Dead to Rights. Again, that was really upbeat and fun, and it sounded like you had a blast writing that one.
I did. It took a while. That was one I had to chase down for some time, because I really liked. I had this intro initially, and ended up throwing that. The intro is what started the whole song, but then I threw that out. Musically, it was influenced by a friend of mine from Canada named Ian Thornley, and you know, all the stuff he did with a band called Big Wreck. But as far as the overall vibe of it, yeah, it's definitely got like heavy. It's heavier, but it still has the bluesy side, right? And the slide solo and whatnot. But that's a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing the middle section of that one, where it does the da-na, ba-na, da-na, ba-na, da-na, and you know, it was a fun solo to record, and once again, kind of get out my Ian Thornley slide licks. But
I was wondering, it sounded like one of those, I don't know what you call the official name, but that steel slide thing.
Yeah, it's a slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then are you using that and soloing at the same time, or how's that working?
Yeah, so when I'm soloing, I'm just soloing. That particular solo is using the slide and my what fingers exist. Yeah. So I started playing slide probably about 35 years ago. I was in a band, and we would cover like Bonnie Raitt songs, so I had to learn the parts. And that's where I had to develop, you know, my slide skills. And I don't get to use it often. And to be honest with you, I don't play a lot because it kind of messes with my hand. I've got this nerve issue, and where I wear the slide really inflames it. So I'm going to try and relearn how to play with my middle finger. And if I do that, it's going to look like I'm flipping people off all the time.
Whatever makes the good music, man. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. The whole album is great, but those 3 songs were probably my favorite, and I wanted to ask about those. So let's see what else. You got an upcoming tour, and date to come to Minnesota here is middle of January. You are a bold traveler.
Yeah. I like the cold.
Yeah, that's great. And you got Tim Montana supporting you. How did you get hooked up with him?
You know, agents and managers got to talking, and I wasn't familiar just because I live with my head in the sand. So I checked him out, and I thought, oh yeah, it's good stuff, man. That'd be a great fit, you know. So I'm stoked about that. I believe a band called Sons of Silver is also on the bill as well.
Okay.
So that'll be cool. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun run. But yeah, for me, that time of year, the trick is always trying not to get a cold, you know. That's the
Sure.
So that's going to be trying to dodge that bullet that time of year will be a fun dance.
Yeah. I recognized Tim Montana on the bill because we did an interview with him like a month or so ago.
Oh, cool.
And he just seemed like super down to earth, fun guy, and any guy with a big beard that hangs out, you know, he has a restaurant with Billy Gibbons and stuff. And then he complimented my beard. I'm like, oh, dude, thank you.
Yeah, I see you guys are so lucky. I couldn't grow a beard if my life depended on it. I don't know, you know, I don't know what it is, but I can kind of grow this goatee, which is pretty much all gray now. But if I try to grow it on the side of my face, it looks like spider legs growing out.
Mine's pretty gray now too, from having 4 kids and stuff like that. So yeah. Alter Bridge. Well, I just closing up here. You guys have typically been writing an album or releasing an album every 3 years. Is that something that's in the works for next year?
That's been talked about. Yeah. Just have to find a window of time to get her done, you know, and in conjunction with that, I've got another Slash the Conspirators record, to get sorted as well. And so, yeah, I'll be busy, you know, as a person who likes to write, it's all good news. It's just a matter of scheduling, you know, with all these tours coming up. And what I'm finding really interesting right now is because the kind of record that I just made with the guys for the solo thing, it's a real challenging record. So I'm rehearsing a lot more. I've been rehearsing for weeks for this tour that starts in Europe next week, just to be prepared for it. And normally what I would be doing is writing for the next project, but I just haven't had nearly as much time as I would like to have. So I'm going to have to, once again, anything coming up, I'm going to have to just tackle them on the road and write there.
Well, all you guys seem really busy. I mean, you're doing this and Slash and Alter Bridge, and then, you know, those guys did a Creed reunion, and Mark's doing his solo stuff. And it's just, I don't know how you guys do it all, but as a fan, I'm thankful because you guys tour a lot and write a lot. So thank you.
We appreciate folks like yourself who make it so that we can do that. Because, you know, if no one was listening and didn't care, you know, it'd be like, you know, I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Yeah. One last question for you. What is your favorite album of 2024? What have you been jamming?
Oh man, it's so funny. Like every time, and I always have like an answer in my head, and then someone asks me, and
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, but I'm going through because what was it? It was something recently that I was just totally down with. Oh.
I'm always curious because, like, you know, people ask like, "Oh, what are your influences?" And it's like, well, after listening to your music for 20 some years, I know that, you know. But what does Myles Kennedy just jam? You know, now.
You know what? I really like Devin Townsend's brand new record, the Power Nerd record, which that's officially been released, but I have connections. Yes. So I've been listening to that. I mean, I think Devin is brilliant. So you know, whenever he puts something out, you know, I want to absorb it. He's something else.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for your time. Great beer.
Thank you.
Nice shirt.
Hey, last time, and I should say this to all the listeners, last time as we ended our interview, I encourage everyone, don't just stream the album, buy it, go buy some merch. I would say the same thing again because I followed through.
I appreciate you for doing that.
And I will wait to buy something at the show, but I'm looking forward to when you get through here in Minnesota. And I just want to encourage everyone, check out The Art of Letting Go. It's an amazing album. And Myles, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joey. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Till next time.
See ya.